Beginning to work on page 5 with the pen tool practice, you are going to use only the pen tool. You should have no other tool up on your screen during this entire worksheet or a page of this worksheet. Hence the title Pen Tool Practice. So right now notice that I'm on the template layer. It's locked. I can't work on it. You do not want to work on the template layer. I'm going to go to page 5 and go ahead and unlock that layer. I'm going to go to my pen tool and I want to make my fill none and my stroke have a color. So what you're going to do is you're going to basically trace each one of these shapes to the best of your abilities. When I'm tracing them, I'm going to zoom in on them. It's just going to make it easier for me to follow the lines as best I can. So I'm going to use my zoom tool and zoom in on this first shape. Zoomed in a little too much, hold down Alt, press it back a little bit. So now I'm going to go back to my pen tool. This first wavy line gives you the points of where you're going to place, well, your points. So that first point, I'm just going to click and let go. Second point is a curve, click and drag. You're just going to complete this to the best of your abilities. You want to make it so your lines are almost identical to mine. When I grade these, I'm going to be zooming in pretty close to make sure that you're following the lines as closely as possible. If, for example, you go a little bit too far out, don't forget you can always go back. So here I went a little bit too far out. I can go back to my direct selection tool, select that point, and adjust those anchors for that point to make it as perfect as I can. So I can even come and move these around a little bit just to make sure I get that nice curve. So now I'm going to go down to my first shape. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on it and go to my pen tool. And I'm just going to outline this shape 100% with the pen tool. First point, click, let go. This is a geometric shape, so I'm clicking and letting go as I go through. And my smart guides are on. If your smart guides are not on, that's fine, but if you would like to view those green little guides that kind of show up and tell you where to place things so that they're aligned with other points and paths, you can go to view at the top and view smart guides. So I close my object. Now I'm just going to move on to my next shape, and I'm just holding spacebar to change my pen tool to the hand, and then I can grab and move my screen around. Same thing, geometric shape. Click my first point. Click let go. Click let go. So on and so forth to create that shape to the best of your abilities. Again, I'm going to be zooming in rather close when I check yours. So make sure you're aligning it the best that you can. Again, click let go. This is just a simple geometric shape. When I'm working with having just no fill. If later on you want to go in and fill those with colors, feel free, but as of now you do not need to do that. Okay, moving on to my next row. This one's a little bit more difficult. Actually, it's rather simple. You just have to know how to create it. So first point, I'm click let go. Second point, click let go, because again, geometric shape. That third point, I'm going to click and go all the way across. All the way across. Right back to that first point. Now, this shape here, this is when it gets a little bit more complicated because you're starting to have curves. We're going to start with this top point here, click let go, and come all the way down around to this next point, click and drag. Now, with this point and this anchor, I just told Illustrator that I want my next point to go over and to the right. I don't. I want my line to go left, but I'm telling Illustrator to go right. So if I click this, notice that it goes right. So I'm just going to Control Z that. Basically, I want to take this anchor away. To do that, I simply take my pen tool and click that point I just made. and that erases that anchor, so I'm basically starting fresh. Again, telling Illustrator to go down. I don't want to go down. I want to go up, so I'm going to take that anchor away. And that's that shape. Moving on, I'm going to start with the point at the shape. Click coming down and around. Once it starts to change direction, so right now it's going down, down, down. Now it's going to start going down to the left. Once it starts changing direction, that's where I place my point. So looking at that, looks a little wonky. So I'm going to go ahead and fix that with my direct selection tool and my anchors. This shape here, I'm going to find an edge to go to. I'll just go ahead and start this shape. So it's kind of like my bottom of my valley. So click. Once it's going up, 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 up and around, it changes direction because now it's going back down. So that's where I place my point. And again, you can go back later with your direct selection tool to fix those. Moving on to this shape here, it's kind of like a circle. So I'm going to go to my north point of this imaginary circle, even though this part comes out, and I'm going to click there. Now this is kind of my imaginary east. I kind of have two easts, this east here and this east here. So I'm going to go ahead and click the east point there. If you think of this shape here as another circle in there, this is kind of like your north point. Now, notice again, I just told my Illustrator that I want my next line to go straight down. I don't. I want it to go to the right, so I need to take that anchor or that arrow away. So remember, wherever it changes a direction, that's where you place the point. And then the final shape, again, kind of like a circle, so I'm going to start at the north. I'm going to come down to the east of this bigger circle, and if you look at this shape in here, that's kind of like an inner circle, so this is kind of the east point and the north point. So I'm going to go ahead and click that anchor off because I'm telling it to go down. Don't want it to. I want it to go to the left. I can go in and fix that later with my direct selection tool. So I'm moving to my direct selection tool. I'm just going to fix all those little mistakes that I made, because I want to be as perfect as possible so I can get a good grade on it. Okay, and that is page 5. When I am about finished, just have to lock it, save it to my student folder, and you'll be ready to turn this in.